You are tuned into the Literacy Hour with Test Taking Solution and your host, Dr. Kentrell Liddell, MD, MBA. The purpose of this show is to help mitigate health disparities, improving literacy related to health, economics, and education. For all your professional development, professional management, and educational support services needs, contact Test Taking Solution, where we're igniting success. Located at 2104 Thousand Oaks Drive in Jackson, Mississippi. Literacy is knowledge and knowledge is power. Thank you for joining the Literacy Hour. Good morning. Good morning. What a beautiful morning. Today is August 18th. 2026, and we're back. Welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Literacy Hour with Test Taking Solution, either by way of our foundation's YouTube channel and the nonprofit radio stations that carry the show at no cost to our nonprofit foundation. Also, Facebook Live. Yes, Facebook Live is live. And so we welcome you over there as well. We're delighted, honored, and very grateful to be with you this morning. Just want to remind you that the information shared during the Literacy Hour, either by the host or guest, is for educational purposes only. It doesn't constitute medical, legal, financial, or tax advice. For specific advice applicable to your situation, please contact a licensed certified professional. I want to start out this morning mentioning about the Natural Science Museum. Man, many of you stopped by last Saturday to partake of the community health fair hosted by Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. And it was a wonderful turnout. We had a great time, made a lot of friends, and met a lot of new faces. But more than that, so much health information and education went forth on that day. Alzheimer's, diabetes, hypertension, mental health, behavioral health. Lots of great resources were shared on that day. And I met a pastor, Tony A. Montgomery Sr., and he had written a book entitled, Honey, I Need an Advocate. Now, the title alone captured me. I was intrigued from the moment I first laid eyes on the book entitled, Honey, I Need an Advocate. It's a husband's experience in patient advocacy. If you have not read this book, it is available on Amazon. You can get your copy. You can even read excerpts, I'm sure, of the book. Certainly learn more about it at Amazon.com. I did share with Pastor Montgomery that I'm in the midst of reading it. I love to read, and this book has been a great read thus far. You know how I do it here on the Literacy Hour. I value education, I value reading, and so with that, you know I'm going to read you an excerpt from Pastor Tony A. Montgomery Sr.'s book. I know you hear me call him pastor. Yes, he is the Reverend of Greater St. James Baptist Church, located at 1301 Jones Avenue, Jackson, Mississippi, 39204. Pastor Tony A. Montgomery, and he does have a junior. All right, I'm reading for you the introduction I love this introduction. It was so very well written by a colleague of mine, Reverend Eric Mansfield, MD, MPH. You see, medical doctors, they have to know how to write as well. And Dr. Mansfield certainly put his skills to work as he crafted a spectacular introduction for this book. Honey, I Need an Advocate. Team, if you have that book, you have a cover of it, or anything that you can share with the audience, please do so. Honey, I Need an Advocate. The introduction reads, I've known Tony and Monique Montgomery for more than 35 years. I knew Monique before she knew Tony. I was there at Antioch Baptist Church North in Atlanta when their story began. I wasn't there that day, but I heard about the day a young man turned to greet the person beside him and found, as Tony would later say, exactly who he was looking for. I watched the courtship. I stood near them at the wedding. I watched three children arrive at a home that Monique ran the way she ran everything else in her life, with warmth, with intention, and with a love that never had an off switch. So I want you to understand something before you read a single word of what Tony has written. I am not introducing a story I heard about from a distance. I'm introducing people I have loved up close. She was a woman I admired deeply, and he is a man whose character I have had the privilege of witnessing across the full arc of a life. What Tony has written in these pages is true, every word of it. I was there for the beginning of their love story, and I was there, painfully standing at Monique's bedside at MD Anderson alongside Tony and their three children when their lives changed forever. Monique Brooks Montgomery was, in the truest sense of the word, an advocate. She came to it honestly. It was not a professional posture, but it was the way she moved through the world. Long before she passed the bar, she was already defending the overlooked, standing beside the forgotten, and refusing to look away from the kind of suffering that most people find it easier to walk past. She chose law because law gave structure to something already written into her character. She chose Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated because its mission matched her own. She chose the clients she chose because she could not help it. I want to tell you about a moment that has stayed with me for years because it captures her more precisely than anything else I could say. Tony and I were at a gas station together. Monique had gone inside. When she came back out, she walked straight to us, to me specifically, and without a great deal of ceremony, asked me for money. I took out my wallet, opened it. She reached in and got what she thought was appropriate. And before I could fully process what had happened, she was already walking back toward the station. She found a woman inside who needed it and gave it to her just like that. When she got back in the car, I asked her who that woman was. She looked at me with an expression that suggested the question was only slightly beside the point. And said almost incredulously, I don't know her. That was Monique. She did not need to know your name to see your need. She did not need to deliberate. She just moved. As a friend, she was the kind of rare presence that made you feel both entirely seen and gently challenged to be better. She laughed loudly and loved fiercely. She had opinions. She definitely had opinions, firm, well reasoned, and delivered with a directness that could stop a room. She also had a tenderness that she offered without fanfare, usually to whoever needed it most. Those of us who knew her would call what she did day in and day out in courtrooms and church vans and foster care proceedings and her own living room love with a backbone. And then she got sick. I have practiced medicine for more than 3 decades. I have operated on thousands of patients and walked alongside hundreds of families through frightening diagnoses and uncertain prognoses. I have witnessed medicine at its most luminous. I stood in amazement at the moment a correct diagnosis changes the trajectory of a life, the elegant precision of a team working in concert toward healing, the deep and quiet competence of a nurse who sees a patient, really sees them, and adjusts everything else accordingly. I've also witnessed its darker seasons, the institutional distance, the chart that replaces the person, the fatigue that curdles into indifference, the system that moves forward on its own momentum while the family down the hall is trying to desperately make someone stop and listen. I say this not to indict in any institution, but to acknowledge what is true. Medicine is a human endeavor, which means it carries within it the full range of human capacity. Families walking through its corridors are often at the most vulnerable moment of their lives, and they deserve someone beside them who knows that range and refuses to accept the worst of it. Tony Montgomery became that person for Monique. He became it before he had any idea what it would require of him. Acute myeloid leukemia, AML, is among the most aggressive cancers that medicine confronts. It does not negotiate. It does not slow down because the person it inhabits is remarkable or beloved or has 3 children and a congregation waiting for her at home. By the time Tony and Monique arrived at MD Anderson, one of the finest cancer institutions in the world, and I say that with the full weight of my clinical experience behind it, they were already in a battle that medicine was going to struggle to win. Tony called me throughout those weeks, often and at length. He's not a physician, but he is a man of extraordinary attentiveness who loves his wife. And he was watching everything, the numbers, the faces of the doctors, the quality of the nursing, the things being said, and the things being carefully not said. During one of those calls, as he described what the physicians were telling him about Monique's condition, something did not sit right with me. I've spent 30 years learning to listen not just to what patients say, but to what the clinical picture is saying beneath the words. What Tony was describing did not add up the way the medical team seemed to be presenting it. I booked a flight from Raleigh. When I walked into that room and saw Monique, I understood immediately what Tony's instincts had been telling him and what had not yet been stated plainly enough for him to fully absorb. She had already begun her transition. What remained was the sacred and painful work of letting the medicine acknowledge what the body had already decided. Tony asked me what I thought. I told him the truth, the complete truth, the way you can only tell it to someone you have loved for 35 years and only when they are ready to hear it. We talked, we prayed, and then, with a courage I do not have adequate words to describe, he made the decision to withdraw life support. What followed is something I will carry with me for the rest of my life. We gathered, Tony, their children, and I at her bedside. And Monique Montgomery, who had come into every room she ever entered with presence and grace, left this world the same way she had moved through it, slowly, quietly, elegantly. With complete dignity, she did not struggle. She breathed, and then she breathed a little less, and then she was still. It was, in 30 years of medicine and nearly as many years of friendship with this family, the most peaceful departure I have ever witnessed. She was, even then, entirely herself. She needed an advocate. She chose the right man for the job 31 years before she ever had to ask. What Tony did in those hospital rooms and hallways was not the behavior of a man who had studied patient rights or attended a seminar on healthcare navigation. It was the behavior of a man who had made a vow for richer, for poorer, for better, for worse, in sickness and in health. He took those words seriously in 1993 when he spoke them, and he took them seriously in that ICU when Monique could no longer speak for herself. His advocacy was not loud for the sake of being loud. It was precise, purposeful, and rooted in something the institution could not manufacture. He knew her. He knew what she would want. He knew how she needed to be treated, and he was not willing to let the size and the busyness of the system reduce her to a room number and a platelet count. He asked me to preach her eulogy. I said yes before he finished asking. What I said that day about Monique, I meant every word. If you met her, you were going to be smitten or bitten. Most people were smitten. She got involved in other people's messiness, not because it was convenient, but because it was her calling. She spent her career making the law mean something to people who had never been able to afford its protection. She spent her life making sure that everyone she encountered, including a stranger at a gas station whose name she never knew, understood that they mattered. This book is not simply a memoir of grief, though grief moves through every page of it with an honesty that will stop you cold more than once. It is a practical and deeply human account of what it means to stand in the gap for someone you love inside a medical system that can, despite its best intentions, swallow individuals whole. Tony writes about the nurses who were magnificent and the ones who were not. He writes about the questions he asked and the ones he wishes he had asked sooner. He writes about the weight of being someone's voice when they can no longer speak, and the particular anguish of loving someone so completely that you cannot bring yourself to hear what the doctors are telling you. Until a friend flies in from North Carolina and sits down beside you and tells you gently, plainly, and with love what the picture is actually showing. He writes about all of this with the pastoral heart of a man who has sat beside the dying for nearly 3 decades and the raw vulnerability of a husband who was not ready. He was never going to be ready. None of us is when it comes to losing the person who has been home to us. I want to say something to the person reading this who is sitting in a hospital waiting room right now, or who has recently come through one shaken and unsure of what they were supposed to have done differently. You were not supposed to know everything. You were not supposed to anticipate every complication or decode every clinical term or know exactly when to push back and when to trust the team. What you were supposed to do, what Tony Montgomery did, imperfectly and magnificently, was show up, stay present, ask the next question, write it down, trust what you know about your person, even when the institution around you seems to know them only as a diagnosis. And if something does not sit right, say so. Call someone you trust. Do not let politeness be the reason you stay silent when your instincts are telling you to speak. Tony Montgomery did not fail his wife. He showed up for her with everything he had, every single day, from the moment she collapsed at that campaign event to the moment she left us, quietly, elegantly, and without struggle. With his hand in hers and her children gathered around her, he was her 007. She was his M. And when she could no longer give him his next mission, he found one on his own to tell this story honestly, so that other families walking into other hospital rooms would know that they are not alone, that they have rights, and that love expressed as advocacy is among the most sacred things a human being can offer another. Read this book, then give it to someone who needs it. That is exactly what Monique would have done. I just read for you the introduction of Honey, I Need an Advocate by Pastor Tony A. Montgomery Sr., whom I met at the community health fair hosted by the Omega Psi Phi fraternity at the Natural Museum of Science this past Saturday. I couldn't hold that to myself. I had to share that with you. That introduction was so very well written by a man who knew the family and who knows Pastor Montgomery and his children yet today. That introduction was written by Reverend Eric Mansfield, MD, MPH. I hope to meet that colleague one day. I want to meet him because he did a wonderful job of opening this book. Well, I'm in the midst of reading it. You know, I love to read, and I know that many of you do as well. Welcome to the Literacy Hour for those of you just joining us by way of our YouTube channel and or by way of Facebook Live. You are in the right place. So stay locked and loaded. We have a lot to share today. And I'm so glad our episodes are archived. In case you want to share it with a friend, please do so, because that's what it is all about. When we learn better, we have an opportunity to do better. And you know what? For those of us who really love life, love others, and love God, we do better. So let's extend grace and give people a chance to do better. Today is financial literacy. It's when we focus on all things financial, money related, generating revenue. And I want to begin by mentioning to you there are jobs for Mississippians. A job fair provides a fantastic opportunity for you in your job search. It is the place where many employers from around the state and in your hometown area come together to tell you about their companies. Oh, I can't wait. After the show today, I'm going to head over to Mississippi State University, Hell State, to the College of Business, my alma mater, where we'll be participating in Speaker's Edge as a judge. It's somewhat like Shark Tank, if you will. The students do a marvelous job. That's the MBA students are presenting their fictitious companies and products. And oh, it's a sight to behold. I can't wait. But as I speak about jobs this morning, they're preparing for jobs. They're preparing to enter the workforce. And that's what a job fair is all about. It introduces you to jobs that are available at a particular time and even lets you apply for those jobs on the spot sometimes. In some cases, employers conduct interviews right there at the job fair. You can view the employers and occupations that'll be featured at a job fair, usually ahead of time, if you register to become an attendee. There is a job fair that I want you to be very aware of because it's an ongoing endeavor by the Mississippi Department of Employment Security. Jobfairs.ms.gov. That's a resource you need to know about. Jobfairs.ms.gov. Thank you so much, team, for putting that on the screen. For those of you watching us via YouTube and Facebook Live, you can see some of the resources we talk about right on the screen. I want to keep that up, if you will. Jobfairs.ms.gov. Let's talk about that for a moment because that's our governor's job fair network of Mississippi. It's a unique, proactive employment assistance resource for the unemployed, for employers, for communities throughout Mississippi. The governor himself opens by saying, as governor of our great state, I'm proud to have my title associated with the Governor's Job Fair Network of Mississippi. This is a free service provided to all job seekers who are looking for a job, a better job, or interested in a change in career. As a major unit of the Mississippi Department of Employment Security, the Governor's Job Fair Network provides opportunities for both employers and job seekers across the state by connecting in their own cities, towns, communities. In honor of the state of Mississippi, the Governor's Job Fair Network provides this service to ease the burdens of job seekers having to travel out of town for job interviews, and it benefits employers who would otherwise be obligated to pay for massive advertising for job openings. So you see, it's a win-win for those seeking work and for the employers who want to advertise open positions. The governor says that both groups are able to meet in one day under one roof, and occasionally a job seeker can find a new job and a business can find a new employee all on the same day. I love this website. You see, we we have so many resources available to us, but we have to know about them in order for them to be effective. This website, jobfairs.ms.gov, you better mark it. You never can tell when you might need it. Mid-South area job fair is set for South Haven. For those of you listening up that way, I want you to be aware that if you're looking to find a new job or line of work, you're going to have an opportunity through the MDES, the Mississippi Department of Employment Security. They're having a job fair up there. East Mississippi Job Fair, September the 10th. That's coming up. It's going to be at 9 o'clock. East Mississippi Job Fair. So we got several job fairs. The Miss Lou Job Fair. I'm going to tell you a little bit about all these. Let's start with that Mid-South area job fair. I believe that one is going to be held, and it already has been, as a matter of fact. And so you may have missed it. It was set for South Haven, August 11th at Brown Missionary Baptist Church. Wow. So happy to see that the churches are partnering with this endeavor as well. Oh, this is awesome. And we need to do this throughout the state. Churches and other organizations that are able to do so should partner with MDES for these job fairs. Let's see another one that's coming up. East Mississippi, that job fair is coming up September 10th. So we still have time to talk about that one. That one's going to be in Columbus, Mississippi. It's going to be at the Communiversity. The Communiversity. Now, I know the W is over there, but the Communiversity is where this one will be held. And that's 7003 South Frontage Road in Columbus, Mississippi, September the 10th, 9 a.m. Keep in mind, you can play this episode back in case I speak too quickly and you cannot get the information written down. The Miss Lou Job Fair, that's going to take place September 24th in Natchez, Mississippi. That's at the Natchez Convention Center, September 24th. the Miss Lou Job Fair. I think the MISS stands for Mississippi, and I think the LOU must stand for Louisiana. I'm just guessing, but it's the Miss Lou Job Fair, September 24th, starting at 9 o'clock. Looks like all these job fairs begin at 9 a.m. and end around 1 o'clock. Energy Expo and Job Fair. That's going to take place October the 1st in Jackson, Mississippi. It's going to take place at the Mississippi Trade Mart. Yep, 1200 Mississippi Street there in Jackson, Mississippi, October the 1st, an Energy Expo Job Fair. So mark your calendars. It might be that it's your turn to change careers or to get a job if you're unemployed, or perhaps to share this information with someone whom you love. On this website, they also share with us some things being advertised on the MDES page of Facebook. It looks like temp staff, August 19th. That's tomorrow. Temp staff. If you're in Magnolia, Mississippi, temp staff is hiring. And they're going to be in the Magnolia Community Center on tomorrow. And they want to meet you. Temp staff from 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. That's tomorrow, 235 South Cherry Street, Magnolia, Mississippi. Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you so much. What a beautiful message. Listen, I love our listening audience. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate the encouragement, but I'm just doing what God has laid on my heart to do. We all have a purpose in life and a role to play. And I love sharing these resources with you. Today is Financial Literacy Tuesday here on the Literacy Hour. And it looks like Magnolia, Mississippi is going to be partnering with temp staff to host a job fair and hiring event for various positions that they have available in Pike County, Walthall County, Lincoln County, and is going down tomorrow, August 19th, and you don't want to miss it. If you're looking for a job in those areas, Magnolia Community Center, Magnolia, Mississippi. All right, so that's what we have going on. That website, again, is on the screen, jobfairs.ms.gov. Thank you, team, for doing that. All right, moving right along, because as I shared earlier in the show, I have a lot of things I want to share with you. The Mississippi Department of Employment Security, you might already know this, but they will provide you a personalized dashboard as you seek jobs, especially through them. This dashboard is amazing. With a free account, you have your own personalized homepage, complete with job matches and real-time messages that answer the question, what next? And even a convenient scoreboard showing how many jobs you've looked at today, how many applications you might have in progress. It is a great site. And that website, in case you want to create your own account and gain access to your own personalized dashboard, is wings.mdes.ms.gov. That's wings.mdes. And we have it, and we're putting it there on the screen, I'm sure, for you all to see. All right, team. So wings.mdes.ms.gov. That website is where you can go to register. Yeah. Get your own personalized dashboard. Then you can see the number of jobs you've applied to. You can find job matches. Let's keep that up on the screen so that everyone can see it. wings.mdes.ms.gov. Go on over there and register. It is what it is, you all. These are some tough times for a lot of people, and these are resources that will help. And so make use of them. share them with others as well. The phone line is open, and if you'd like to join the discussion this morning or share your thoughts on air, I want you to do so. Just call our number 601 714 TEST. That's 601 714 8378. And you will be in the virtual studio with me, and we'll talk. Just make sure that what you have to share is uplifting, or maybe it's a teachable moment and you want to share something that you've learned with our listening audience. I'm your host, Dr. Kentrell Liddell, and today is August 18th, and it's that time of year when families are adjusting to their children being back in school for the fall semester. Some parents have become empty nesters as their children have gone off to college. Well, there's a cure for that. Get busy. If you don't have employment, if you're in retirement perhaps, or sitting at home, there are so many places you can volunteer. You can volunteer at Test Taking Solution. You can help students who are struggling academically. Um, you can volunteer. I'm sure there are volunteer positions somewhere in your city. Contact your mayor's office and see where you can lend a hand. But don't just sit at home and be alone. In addition to our financial literacy education topic of the day, we'll be exploring available grants and funding opportunities later in the show. But first, let me say this. Women, women, you play a major role in your families. And men, I need you to know that as well. Many of you already do. Communities and households are, especially those headed by the woman, those single parent households, are held together by women. Many of them are the financial breadwinners of their families. So the health of a woman affects more than just herself. It affects the entire family. If you love the woman you're with, you love the women in your lives, I want you to encourage them to get their annual wellness exams. So every Tuesday, no matter what our main focus is, like this Tuesday is financial literacy, I am always going to share something to improve our health literacy. Always. That's who I am. That's my calling. That's the physician in me. Women's health. I talked a lot about it last Tuesday because it was health literacy. So, wow, we really spent an exorbitant amount of time talking about breast health. And you can never talk about it too much or enough. So I want to share one other thing that you need to know about changes in the healthy breast. We went through the healthy breast. We showed images of the healthy breast and talked about every part of the breast and the musculature around that breast. Well, there are some changes that can occur even in a healthy breast. We talked about and mentioned puberty. We mentioned menstrual cycle. We did not mention last Tuesday, and I want to share it this morning, and we'll continue to share as time goes on. But weight changes can also lead to changes in the healthy breast. Weight changes. Like other parts of your body that contain fatty tissue, your breast may change in size or shape if you lose weight or if you gain weight. The healthy breast can change. I want us to be as educated as possible about breast and cervical cancer, and so does the Mississippi State Department of Health. They have a spectacular breast and cervical cancer program. I brag about it all the time because I know the program. I know it from all aspects, from having referred patients to it, to overseeing a program, to serving as a community partner of the program. But the breast and cervical cancer program works. It helps to provide women ages 40 to 64 with access to free breast cancer screenings. You can't beat that. If you don't have insurance or if you lack adequate coverage. This program is here to help. It includes coverage for breast exams, coverage for mammograms, for the women ages 40 to 64. And then for all women ages 21 to 64, provides access to free cervical cancer screenings, including gynecologic exams and pap tests. So if you're interested in learning more about this program, give us a call, 601-714-8378, and we'll be so very happy to put you in touch with a provider, a reputable provider. And my favorites, the federally qualified health centers, the local health departments. I will put you in contact with the place where you can participate or be at least assessed for your eligibility to participate in this breast and cervical cancer program. Most common breast cancer signs and symptoms, everyone, I want you to be reminded, are a new lump, a new mass, a mass that's painless, a mass that's hard, a mass that has irregular edges. Is more likely to be cancerous. But breast cancer can also be tender. It can also show up as a soft mass. It can also show up as perfectly round like a pea. I'll never forget detecting a breast cancer the size of a pea in the axillary area of a woman's breast. Get your exams. Find a medical home. When we detect things early, we have a better chance of taking care, of managing, of treating that condition. So we want women, especially those with high risk factors, to be seen. But it's not just the women. Men, you should get your wellness exams too. Don't you have someone you want to be around for a lot longer than if you don't take care of yourselves? We want you to be around. We want you to watch your children and your grandchildren and your great grandchildren grow up. Get your exams. Know your numbers. Let's find out whether or not we're diabetic. Let's find out whether or not we have hypertension. Let's find out whether or not we're at risk for developing cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, lung cancer. Let's find out. So that's what I want to share. Early detection saves lives, and I'm mighty serious about it. We'll be talking more about that as the year goes on. Every Financial Literacy Tuesday, I always highlight our athletes who are performing on a national stage or who might have an opportunity to do so. And we're excited about several athletes. We're Mississippi strong. I know you're following them too. And you come right here on third Tuesday to hear about what they're doing. And I'm glad you do. And we have a lot to be proud of. And I want everyone to support a fine Mississippi gentleman as he plays for the NFL. I want you to continue to pray for his health, pray for his strength. He continues to represent the very best of Mississippi in the NFL. And I saw him several times this summer because he was giving back to the community that helped to shape him into the young man he is today, making Mississippi my hometown, my stomping ground where I grew up. I love Noxubee County. And I just love Jeffrey Simmons' spirit of giving back. He doesn't have to, but Jeffrey, he just makes a point to come home and to put on a big fun day for the city. He does it for me. And I'm so proud of him. That's Jeffrey Simmons, number 98 of the Tennessee Titans. My boy has become the face of the Tennessee Titans. Way to go, Jeffrey Simmons. Tennessee Titan number 98 is always supporting the Knoxville County Tigers and the people of Knoxville County in general. The date that Mr. Simmons and Tennessee Titans play their season opener um, is already been determined. And they're going to open up against the New York Jets at home in the Nissan Stadium. That's September 13th. They're going to kick off 1 o'clock Eastern. That's 12 o'clock our time. September 13th, the Nissan Stadium. Tennessee, they were having a great old time this summer because on June 19th, they made a big announcement. Can you believe that Jeffrey Simmons became the highest paid defensive tackle in NFL history with a $105.8 million contract with $100 million guaranteed? Listen, that is something to celebrate. So very proud of that young man. Since then, uh, it was short lived now because this guy, I heard about him, Jalen Carter, somebody of the Philadelphia Eagles, he recently eclipsed him. And Mr. Carter signed a contract extension for $152 million. That's $152 million over the course of 4 years. And the deal includes $106 million guaranteed with a $22.5 million signing bonus. And you wonder why children, at least a lot of them, and they tell us at Test Taking Solution, what do you want to do when you grow? I want to play for the NFL. Well, now you see why. They think they can get paid, but I want them to know that, to get contracts like this is very, very rare. I also make sure the children know that to get to the NFL, you got to first graduate from high school and go to somebody's college. That's right. You have to qualify and be eligible to be admitted to someone's college. So education is still most important. Mr. Simmons has celebrated his birthday on July 28th since all of that went down. And he has also entered NFL Fall Training Camp. You can follow Jeffrey Simmons on Facebook and on Instagram at jsimmons_94. That's Jeffrey Simmons of the Tennessee Titans. Our next athlete that we want to mention is, he's mine, Joshua Liddell. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate that, studio team. Man, you guys are amazing. Mr. Joshua's heading that up, and you all are telling me something about there might be some issues with streaming to Facebook. Listen, we hope that gets resolved, but there's maybe an issue on Facebook's end. I'm not sure. It's asking if the streaming has ended or maybe it was deleted, but they'll keep trying to let us know when it is resolved. But if you're listening on Facebook, you're certainly welcome to switch over to YouTube. Our channel over there is Test Taking Solution Foundation, and that's YouTube, Test Taking Solution Foundation. I'm sure the team will share that information with you. Test Taking Solution Foundation over on YouTube. Sorry about that. Whatever's happening on Facebook, I'm sure they will resolve the issue before the end of the show. Thank you for your prayers and your support of my son, Joshua Liddell, as he continues his journey to becoming a heavyweight champion. No matter what he does, he just can't seem to get out of that heavyweight division. He is mighty tall, mighty lean, but he is a force to be reckoned with. And this man is a member of the United States of America Boxing Association. We're praying for his safety during the matches. And barring any injuries, I'm predicting a heavyweight boxing champion hailing from the beautiful Magnolia State at some point in the future. Guess what, you all? Here, you heard it here first on the Literacy Hour. Joshua will be turning pro in December. Yes, Joshua will be turning pro on December the 5th, and he's going to turn pro right here at home in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Mississippi is home to Joshua. Now, Hattiesburg, all right, now you're getting all of the glory and the honor and everything. But I'm telling you now, we're going to have to bring this thing back to Starkville, the hump, and make sure that Oktibbeha County gets in on this. Hines County as well. So now Hattiesburg, this makes your second time hosting Joshua Liddell. If you like to witness the start of the next great American heavyweight champion, you can get your tickets by texting Joshua L. That's Joshua L to 601 462 4099. You text Joshua L to that number and click on the link provided, and you will have access to the tickets. I know you hear the tickle in my voice because I'm tickled pink. I love it. I've been watching and helping. I've been the one holding mitts and doing all this stuff since Joshua was 9.5 years old. And we thank God for everyone who's had a hand in his training and upbringing. Coach Larry Ephraim, who's like a dad to him, and Coach Richard Steele in Las Vegas, Nevada. Um, I mean, it's just been an amazing journey to witness. Joshua's been knocking folks out recently, and so he's turning pro. And when he discussed it with me, I gave him my blessing and told him that we would be behind him. Melvin is so proud of him as well, and we are going to support him all the way. You can see footage of Joshua's fights on my Facebook page, Kendrell.Liddell. We kept Joshua off social media for as long as we could keep him off, but he's on there now, and you can follow him on Instagram at jliddell601. That's jliddell601. Follow him on Instagram and get to see for yourself the making of a heavyweight Mississippi champion. That's what's so exciting. He's hailing from Mississippi. So we got Jeffrey Simmons, we got Joshua Liddell, and then listen, I'm so excited about this beautiful young man, Melvin Collins Jr. He's my baby too. Born and raised in Terry, Mississippi, a graduate of West Kentucky University. He's now pursuing a master's degree in business at Jackson State University. Now, you know, Jackson State is getting ready for the kickoff. Currently, MJ is training for the first football game of the season. Is scheduled for August the 29th. And he's wearing what I believe is just divine intervention. This man is wearing the jersey number 77. So you look out for number 77. He is committed. He is dedicated. The JSU Tigers, you don't know what you have in your possession yet, but we're all about to see August 29th, 2026 in Nashville, Tennessee against Vanderbilt for the Hope Labor Day Classic. We will be there with bells on. Nashville, Tennessee, Vandy, here we come. Y'all better get ready. Listen, the thee I love does not play games, man. Make sure that you are following. Team want to make sure that you put MJ's information up there. Make sure that they can get access to MJ and follow him at Collins Jr. Follow him on Instagram. I believe he has some jerseys available too out there. I'm not sure how they do what they do, but y'all just make sure to follow Melvin Collins Jr., number 77. His Instagram handle is there on the screen. Jackson State, number 77, looking fantastically great. That's Melvin Collins Jr. We're praying for the entire JSU SWAC team. We're looking for great things from them. And in addition to these athletes, now these student athletes, I am also excited about all of our children who have gone back to school this season. I want you to study hard and stay strong. You will do well this year if you study hard. Listen well to your teachers, okay? Just a little tidbit before we get off the air. Just know that the Literacy Hour is where you receive relevant, up to date, accurate information. Our team does a great job of making sure that you're well informed about resources that are available in our community. The Rural Health Transformation Program grant. The second round of those applications, the deadline was yesterday. That's right, August 17th. So we're waiting now for the first round of winners to be announced, and we're supposed to be hearing those announcements at any day now. And then the second round, we're being told the winners will be announced. Those grantees who will be awarded will be announced in mid-September. So we'll keep you posted about all things Rural Health Transformation Program. That big grant, the $206 million approximately that came to Mississippi, and that Mississippi will receive each year for 5 years. We've gotten our first distribution. And now the Mississippi Rural Health Transformation Office is distributing or preparing to that money to some wonderful organizations and programs that are going to help improve rural health care in Mississippi. The Social Security number is the tidbit I want to give you before we leave. I want you to access ssa.gov. Simple as that. Social Security Administration, ssa.gov. Every single one of us who have a Social Security number has an ssa.gov account. You'll be amazed when you access it. We've helped several people at Test Taking Solution to access their account. They didn't know how to maybe use the computer or maybe just had some technical issues. But once they accessed it and saw every job they had ever worked tied to their Social Security number, they saw so many things. They were amazed. And you will be too if you've never accessed your account. I want you to access your account today, ssa.gov. And when you try to, it's going to take you through some motions. You got to get verified. And that may be daunting for some people, but there's help. You get a paper statement every year. And if you're not signed up to receive a paperless statement, that's a statement by email. And on the paper statement, you read around the last paragraph and it will tell you how to access your account online. All right. That's all the time that I have today. We've shared a lot of helpful information. Hopefully you find it helpful. I want you to join us back here on next Tuesday. Renaissance Bank, they're having an event August 25th. That's next Tuesday from 11:30 to 1 o'clock at the Mississippi East Center, talking about empowering women small business leaders. That's next Tuesday, 11:30 to 1 o'clock. I'm getting out of here, man. I'm ready to go to MSU College of Business, Hale State. You all have a great rest of your day. And remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to someone else. God bless you.